Hey guys, welcome back. In this video we're going to discuss all about how to build an expenses tracker using MERN stack. Inside the application I have many features like insert, update, delete, and also I can search the record by using category or by using our product name. So let's look at the project features. So I'm going to click to add expenses and write the value like by GPU. I'm going to enter the value, select the date like I'm going to select to 10, and this is the shopping. And if you want to add the node you can do that, but I'm going to leave it and click to add expenses. The expense has been stored inside the database and also inside my table. I can click it by edit that. Let's say I'm going to change this price. Price has been updated. Also I can search it. This is all. When I select the healthcare I can't see anything else, and I'm going to select about. I'm getting the values in the top, means the calculation of the both values, and also I can delete it by clicking delete button. And also these are cards. In the each card have different things like total spend, how many expenses you have used, average of expenses, highest average of the expenses value. So guys, I will teach you how you can use React, Node.js, MongoDB to build the complete application from scratch. So without further ado, let's get started to set up our backend project. So guys, I have successfully installed the Node.js and also many packages which help us to manage our application like course.env, express, mongoose, and also more. So course is used to handle our frontend.env is handled to connect the .env file with our express application. Express is a framework which is used to handle our Node.js code. And mongoose is used to handle the mongodbs. Morgan is used to send the request. You will get the API result inside our console or API URL. Okay, so let's set up the project. So I'm going to remove the O from there because here is another O. So I would like to use .env file. In the env file I would like to use port is like 8000. Okay, and the next one is I would like to use node development mode is node underscore env is development. I'll show you very basic thing guys. Close it and just open app.js file and also server.js file. In the app.js file you need to make an express variable and assign the require express like this, then const app and assign the express, right? And the next one is I need to use module.exports app, right? I would like to use app.get. This is my main URL. Request response. Just check it. What's happening? Then I will hit the URL. So our basic URL means your current local host. Let's move on the server.js file. The first thing I need to import this one file because I've used the export module.exports. This one file I need to import it inside there. Const app require app file. The next one is I would like to use app. But before using it, I need to create a port of 5000. Okay, and the next one is, okay, give me a second, I will use another method. First of all, I need to use require .env config, and I would like to use process.env.port is exist, or I would like to create a port. Already mentioned that I would like to use 8001. This port variable will get the port data from this one variable. If this will be exist, then display the port on 8000, otherwise we will get the port 8001. Then I would like to use app.listen port function. Inside that, I'm going to use console.log. Server is running on port, like port variable like this. That's it. Let's try to use it. I'm going to open the console, terminal, and I would like to use cd server and pin star. I'm getting the result. Server is running on the port 8000, means we have successfully configured our port, means our server is running. If you use browser, give me a second, I will use localhost colon 8000 like this, and move on there. You will get the working. This text is used inside there. Alright, so let's move on our connection. We're gonna create a connection between our Node.js application with our MongoDB database. So I need to move on our, just leave it. You just use the MongoDB, use MongoDB website and log in that. I already logged in my MongoDB account. Just click to sign in and write the username and password, or you can use the Gmail or any GitHub account to log in that. Once you log in that, then the next thing you need to create a new project and write the project name. I'm going to use copy expenses. Next, if you assign the permission of the any member, you can write on there, but I'm going to leave it and click to create project. Create a cluster and leave default everything inside there, but you need to select the free version. Click to create a deployment, and there we go. We are able to see password. This is a username, this is the default, but you can change it. So I'm going to use copy expenses. Just need this one password. If you want to change it, you can do that. Move on your .env file, and I'm going to use db database password. Assign the password. Move on. Create a database. Okay, I'm gonna just like this. Close connection method. Choose connection method. So I would like to use MongoDB versus VS Code. Just get this one URL, and you would like to use on there, like database URL like this. Okay, I will use URI, database URI, or I will use mongodb URI, and this is the database password. But inside they have this one password, so I would like to change it inside there because I will manage it with my config file. So you have a URL of the MongoDB and you have a password. That's it. You are able to connect it using Node.js. So let's move on. Our config.db file. Create a file, db.js. You need to use const mongoose require mongoose const create a function connect db. This is the async function. Alright, catch error. Message error message like this, and the type like I would like to use const connection, right? Any name as you want. Await target mongoose.connect function. Inside that I'm going to use process.env because I will target this one file. All right. mongodb underscore URI dot replace. I would like to replace it what? The password, and your main password is process.env dot what is the name of the password variable, like database password. I'll just get it and paste on there. That's it. So let me repeat that. You have a variable, right? The await mongoose.connect. This is a function which is coming from the mongoose, and you need to target your process.env file, and inside the file have a password. So yeah, so this is a very simple process, guys. Just replace this password. This is a static password on there, and just replace it inside this one file. Alright, so the next and important thing, I would like to use process that exists and just pass one. The last and final thing you need to use module dot what I'm gonna use module exports connect db. This one, then I'm able to access this one file. So close it, move on the server.js file because I will make a connection inside there, right? So let's use I'm gonna use database connection. Just call connect db. But before using it, I need to get that connect db from require UI config folder db.js file. Just call the function connect db like this. Let's refresh the page. Save the page. Mongoose crashed. Okay, authentication failed. Paid authentication. Okay, something is wrong inside. Where? Okay, let me check the config.js file. That is this one. Okay, after this one I'm getting the server is running, but also I need to use console.log, and I'm gonna use mongodb connected. Let me write, if you want to add the particular name you can do that. As you can see, MongoDB is connected. If I change the password, like I'm gonna remove the 9, and I'm gonna save the file, and once again I save the app.js file, I'm getting the issue. As you can see, same thing. So leave this one. This is the issue. This issue is coming from my only on the closing bracket. All right, so we have successfully connected with our database, and we have successfully configured our main process files that help us to manage our application. So let's move on to the router, controller, and our models file. Alright, so let's work on that. So I'm going to remove this one. I don't need that because I just show you how you can use it. So inside this one I use API routes. Alright, so in order to use API routes, I just use api.use. This is my API URL, like API version 2 expenses. And after this one, I would like to call my particular router, which are used to handle this one request. So let's do that. I'm going to move on the router. In the router, I would like to create a file expense routes.js. In the expense.route file, you need to use const express const router express and that router like this, but R is a large. So I would like to use router.get method and use my main URL. When user will hit main URL, I would like to call the function. So in order to call the function, I will use the controllers. So in the controllers folder, I will create a file expense controller. Alright, inside that I'm going to use exports.get all expenses like this. Sync function, request response like this, and I'm going to get all expenses like this. Alright, so inside the expenses route, I would like to get that. So const expense router, whatever the name you will be used on there. I'm going to use the variable name require dot controllers. Inside the controllers here, expense controller. So I would like to call it comma dot get all expenses like this. Alright, so let me use the, but last thing we need to set up it, guys. I need to move on the app.js file. When user will hit on this one URL, I would like to call this one router. Alright, so let's use it module.export. What is this? Module.exports and router. And we need to import it. Const what is name I would like to use on the expense router is best. Okay, expense router require routes expense router, and just copy and just paste on. I'm going to use expense routes. It's best name like this. Okay, give me a second. Alright, so let's try to use it. So I move on our postman, and this is my local host 5000 but 8000. Okay, I'm going to use 8000 slash API version 2, and my main URL is expense. Press it, and you are getting the message get all expenses inside the console. As you can see, guys, this message is coming from there. Alright, It means we are successfully connected with our routes with our function. Means when user will hit this one URL, and let me share with you, localhost 8000 version 2 expenses, by default we will get all expenses message. Okay, but I will display the messages from the database. Alright, so let's move on, and we will create a file inside the models with the name of expense model.js. Inside the expense model, we're gonna create a schema which will help us to create a table and also column inside our MongoDB database. So let's do that. Const mongoose acquire mongoose, and I have the complete details, so let me share with you each thing. So this is the expense schema. Just call a schema. This is a parenthesis, and this is object. This is a column name description. On each column have a type is a string. Required, this is a validation. Trim means remove the space. Max length means more than 100 characters it will be stored. And this is the second input field or second column field. The type is number, required is true, min 0.0. And this is a category, type is a string, required is true, and means categories is food, transportation, experiment, entertainment, shopping, bills, healthcare, other. And this is the date. This is also column, type is date. By default is date.now. Notes, the type is a string, trim, true, max length is more than 500, and the last one is a timestamp is true. This is basically my let's say table name. This is a column, this is a column, and this is also column. These are columns, guys. All right, once you create it, the next thing is you need to use const expense. Write any name as you want. I'm going to use expense mongoose.model, and write, I'm going to use copy expense, right? And just target your expense schema on there. The last thing you need to use module.export. What expense like this. Then you are able to use this one file with another function that help us to store the value or get the value from the database. That's it. So where it is, controllers. So we're going to work on the controllers to get all of the record from the database. So I'm going to remove it, and we're going to create a function. The function is very simple, guys. Just use try, catch, use error, and I would like to use console.log, not console.log. I use response.status 500 JSON, so error. Okay. Give me a second. I would use also another success is false, messages server is running, or I would like to use error.message. What error we will be get inside the application. So let's use the mongoose and get the data, right? By default you can't see anything else, but this function is help us to get all of the data. So in order to use the mongoose or connect the database, use the database functions. So you need to use expense and require you need to get the file and dot models. Inside the model have expense model. Then I would like to use expense on there. Let's say I will use await, and this expense inside they have a many function, so I would like to use find. The next thing is I need to use response.status, response.json. The first one is I would say success is true, and also I need to use count, expense.length, and data. The data is expense, like this one, guys. All right, so let's try to use it, but right now you can't see anything else. Let's use it. I'm getting the success is true, the count is 0, data is nothing, but we will store the data inside the database. You will get the result inside this one application. All right, so let's create another function that will help us to store the data. Then you will able to understand everything, guys. So I'm going to create a function exports that create expense async request response, and I would like to use catch block on there because I need to use server time, like this. In the try block I would use const destruct the value. Which value? The column value. Description, amount, category, date, and notes from request.body. Const expense new, and same thing you can do, call the expense like this one, and you need to target as object-based value. Which value you will be passed on there? Description, amount, category, date, and notes. All right, okay, here is the date. All right, guys, let's move on, and we're gonna create a new expense variable and target a wait function. Just target the expense like this one variable and use the save function. All right, last and final thing you need to use response.status. And what is the next thing? I'm gonna add it. Okay, 201 means create JSON, the success is true, and data is new expense. So let's use this one function inside our out. So this is the model, so I need to remove it, and expense route. So I just use .post method, and the URL and the URL is same, and expense controller. Why I use the expense router on the expense controller like this. Just change the name, and we're gonna create expense, but we're gonna fix few things before we store the data inside the database. You need to move on the app.js file, and inside there you need to target your middlewares. It is very important, middleware. The first thing is you need to use app.use express.json like this. Then you are good to go, and we're gonna store the data. So let's try to use it. So same thing, paste it, use the post method, go to body, select the raw, and we're gonna store the data. Let's say, give me a second, I just need to check the value. Description, I would say by mouse. The next one is amount, and the amount should be 350 like this, and category I would say is food. not for this is a shopping, guys. So I would like shopping, and no important things to store the data. These are important, so we're gonna use the simple send message. There we go, guys. By a mouse, this is shopping, this is the by default date, created, updated date, and we have stored the data in the database. So let's try to use not use, we're gonna check it, the data is stored or not. So browse the collection, and this is my copy expenses. Okay, guys, there we go. We are able to see the data have stored inside our database. So let's try to use our get, this one, get request, to get the data. So I'm getting the data, guys, as you can see. So we have successfully made two APIs. The first one is help us to get all of the data from the database. The next API is used to store the data inside the database. So let's move on, and we're going to create another APIs which are help us, means we're going to create another functions and also APIs that will handle the delete, update, and also delete, update features. Alright, guys, so let's move on. Our expense router, expense controller, we're going to create a more than two functions that will help us to update and delete the record. So let's try to use them. Export.update expense, in order to update the records. So we're going to create a variable update expense await, and you need to target your expense variable, which is used to get the MongoDB database functions. So I would like to use find by ID update function. Inside that I need to pass request.params.id. The next thing is we need to pass request.body, and as object base values, new is true, and also I need to add the validator is run validators is also true. Alright, then I would like to use if the update is not true, then I just get the response status 404.json, and success should be false, message should be not found, like this. Alright, and the next one you should be use response.status, not response.json. Success should be true, true, and data should be update expenses, like this one variable. Alright, there we go. Also we're going to create another function that will help us to delete the record. Then we're going to move on to check it one by one, and also we're going to add another feature that will help us to, before saving the data inside the database, we're going to add some important things which are handle the amount. Okay, so let's create that. Exports then delete, exports.delete, async fast response, and the catch block. I'm going to get that. And in order to delete that, we're going to use same logic but different function. Expense dot find by ID delete, and I will use request dot params dot ID. If why I'm getting the issue, okay. const deleted. Okay, I'm gonna use deleted. Okay, perfect. If is not deleted means not true, then I would say like this a message. All right, otherwise I would say response.json, just get it and paste on there. Find success inside response, not response.status, I would say response.json, and success true, data is deleted, but I would say simple message should be deleted successfully. Alright guys, so this is my key, this is my value, this is my key, this is my value. If you want to change the name, like do you want to change name like short name, you can do that. You can use MSG, whatever the value you will be used on there, and assign the value whatever the value you will be assigned on there, right? So I'm going to show you important thing. So I would like to call these functions update expenses, and also I need to use delete expense as well. So I need to move on there, and in order to use these functions you need to call router.put. all right, and you should be used like this. It means your expenses and your ID means 1 2 3 or whatever the number you will be used, these numbers will be assigned on this one ID. And I've used on there, give me a second, I've used find by ID and update. Request.params.id means I need to get the ID when user will hit the URL like this one. Then I will get this one URL data, I mean ID data, and assign it inside there. Alright, let me share with you when I will use this one function. Alright, so I would say expense controller and update expenses. Alright, also I need to use router and just use dot delete function or delete request, and same thing you can do there. Expense dot delete expense. That's it, guys. So let me share with you the usage of this one. Okay, so this is the update expenses. So I would say console.log request.params.id. Just show you. Alright, like this, and same thing you can do there. I just show you if you hit the URL request what you will get. This is a delete function, right? Alright, so let's move on our Postman, and we need to get the API, I mean ID, and the first thing is you need to get the URL. The message should be put and expense slash, you need to pass the ID. All right, so our ID is like this, and this is by the way database ID name, and in the body raw I would say copy these details. I'm going to paste on there, and I'm going to change the value by keyboard, and the keyboard is and just leave this one, I don't need to use it. Right, so I think it should be solve the problem. Let's try to use it. I'm going to send a request. True is false. Okay, something is wrong. 500. Alright, I think I need to use shopping categories. Also have some validation in the categories. Yes, the category is required, so this is the issue. So I think This time it will be no. Okay, the problem is, guys, give me a second. Just like this, so I think it should be solve the problem. So let me, there we go, guys. I'm getting the updated details, update the keyboard and the amount, the category. Let's look at that. So here is the API key, guys, updated function, and this is my key or value which I have assigned on there. As you can see, 917, 917, and 917. So that's usage of the update function when you will pass the ID on them. So let's try to use the delete, right? So you can use same thing. Okay, so but what I'm going to use, okay, I'm going to use same thing, just select the delete method and send the request, delete successfully. Let's try to use the get all method. There are no records inside the database. Let's try to refresh your MongoDB database. What you will get, you can't see anything else, guys. As you can see, this is your table name. Alright, so the last and final thing you need to do, you need to move on the expense model, and in the model you need to use few things, and also you need to close the function. So that's it in the backend, guys. Expense schema.pre means before save the record, so I would say save function, and I'm going to call the middleware, call the basically passing the parameter inside the function. And I would say if this that amount means I target my amount column like this one is exist, so I would say this dot amount, assign the values math dot round, and I would say this dot amount times by 100 divided by 100, and I would say next middleware like this. That's it. So guys, we have a complete API usage, and I think I would say one more thing I would like to use on there, because I need to handle my front end. So in order to use front end, you need to use app.use course. Remember, I use the course, but before using it I need to import it, guys. Alright, so let's import it. Const course and we're gonna use course like this, and you need to use app.use course in that function. That's it, guys. Alright, if you want to use the middleware to handle the errors, you can do that. I just show you the simple and easy way to perform all of the operation which are handle the API and usage of the database. Alright, so I'm going to close it, and we're going to move on the server.js file. In the server.js file, the last thing you need to use, which is handle the shutdown. So I'm going to use process.on and call a sync function console. If you want to add the console log, you can do that. I'm going to leave there. Console, yeah, await mongoose dot connection should be close, and also I need to use server dot, I would use com server and call that on the server dot close function, process dot exit. I'm passing the one value on there. Alright, I'm getting that. Sure. Okay, give me a second. Like this, yeah. That's it, guys. If you want to add the value, like console.log service storm, like this, you can do that. Alright guys, so we have successfully configured our backend and we have checked also in the postman. So we're gonna use same logic to get the value in the front end, and we're gonna manage it. Why I'm getting this one in the outside? Okay, I think I need to remove it. Alright, so this is my backend, and in the client you can't see anything else. So in order to use front end, I would like to use the designing. Means I will design all of the application step by step. Once I will design it, then I will teach you how you can get these details and use it inside your front end. So let's get started. So guys, I have successfully designed the application using React and also Tailwind CSS, but we need to add the logics which will help us to get the data from the backend. So let's get started to work on the logic and get the data from the database and perform all of the operations that help us to manage our application. So I need to move on our code editor, so I'm going to close it, and the first thing I'm going to comment it because I need to see all of the things like cards and other things. The next thing is I'm going to create a file api.js, and also I would like to install the package which will handle the API. The package name is accessories like this, and I will use them to get the data. Alright, so I'm going to close it and let's import it. And then we're gonna use our best URL, I'm gonna use best URL http://localhost/8000/API version 2. Alright, so our best. Next one is I'm gonna create an API and accessories.create the base URL like this. I'm going to assign the object value. This is my base URL object. This is by the way key, and assign the value is base URL like this one. Then also I'm going to assign that another key is time out should be 8000 milliseconds. Alright, so we're gonna get the data from the API. So expense APIs. I would like to use export const fetch expenses async. Alright, const rest await API.get method. What do you want to get? This is this one URL. Alright, so let me show you what you want to use this, and I would say expense like this. So what I'm going to do on there, I just get it and I'm going to paste on there. Alright, so this is my complete URL that will help us to get complete data from the backend. I would say return response, whatever the value you will be assigned on there, name you will be assigned on there. I'm going to use as means result, otherwise as.data.data. Alright, so you can use this function as help us to get the data. The next function I would like to create that should be create expense. So inside there I'm going to assign the method should be post and URL is same and this is same. Let's use another thing inside there. Give me a second. Assign on there or nothing. Okay, and same thing I'm gonna do on there as well like this. Alright, so I'll use same thing, and that should be our update expense, and this should be put method, and our URL is, I would like to use little template /expense /ID, where the ID is passing the ID payload, whatever the value will be passed on there. So this ID pass on there. Okay, and I would like to use the next parameter. I would say payload. When I will call this function will get the ID and also value. So when I will call that, then I would assign the ID and the value. And same thing I'm gonna do the delete expense, and same thing, but the method should be delete, and this will get only one parameter. I don't need to use the second parameter on there. That's it, guys. So okay, I would say this will be sponsored data, otherwise nothing, null, right? So guys, I have a for function that will help us to perform the crowd operations, like get the data, create store the data in the database, update the data, delete the data. So I would like to close it. Let me check it one more time. Expense ID, and expense, because sometimes we will face the problem. Okay, I'm going to close it and move on our app.jsx file. And the first thing is I need to import them inside this one file. Means I need to destruct all of the functions and we will use them inside them. So I would say fetch expenses. Give me a second. I would get them and fetch expenses. The next one is create expenses, update, okay, and delete expenses, like this, from API. What is the name? Okay, I would say API.js, guys. You can store it in the variable, in the folder you can do that, but I'm going to use this way. Alright, so the next thing is I would say display the static card details inside our card. Then we're going to move on another sections. So in order to display the card details, I would use the function status card calculation, const calculation status expense list, create a variable list, and you're gonna get the list from expense list, and or empty array, and you're gonna get the total. So I would say list.reduce. I do not use any state or any function inside there. I just use the calculation of the states. Means display the data inside our cards. Like this is the first one, second, third, and yeah, we're gonna use this one logic to get the data. Calculate the data. So I would say list.reduce and some element. Some calculate would be, I'm calling the number because I need to get e.amount. Alright, or nothing, and then I would say 0. Means this is a reducer function which will help us to 0 in the loss, means accumulate. Next one is I need to get the category total. Okay, so I would say list.radius accumulator element and accumulator inside the edges e.category. Alright, and what is assign the value accumulator dot e.category and or nothing. Alright, and also we will use the number function that will help us to convert it into number or so. Alright, and the last thing you need to use return accumulator. Alright, so this is our calculation outside of this one, I would say return. What do you want to return? I would say total. So the first thing I'm going to use total. The next one is count. These are keys. Alright guys. The value I will assign it list.length. Alright, length. And average avg list.length greater than 0. Total divide by list.length, otherwise 0. And highest list.length greater than 0. Otherwise I would say math.max. Make a copy of the list, and I'm going to use map method, passing the value e means element, or you can pass any name as you want. I would say number function e.amount or 0. Alright, otherwise I would say nothing. Okay, the last thing I need to get the category totals. Okay, so I would say totals on there and just pass. So this is coming from there. This is my additional value, and this is also additional value. I've used that to get the length of the list. Alright, and this is the highest, means I just use the simple logic to get the highest amount, and this is the category which help us to get the category. Outside of the return keyword, outside of this one curly brackets, you should be use const status and calling the calculation function. Inside there you need to pass the value. So which value you will be pass in a minute. I would say where it is. Okay, I'm using these inside outside of there, but I would say use there. Alright, so I would say expense, let me show you. Make a states expenses, set expenses, use this state. Alright, and I just copy it and I'm going to pass on there. Right, because I will use set expenses to assign the data from the backend. Alright, this expense is used to display the data. So let me copy it, and we're gonna move on the status code. In the status code you just pass as a prop, and also you need to pass another things. Let me show you. The value should be little template. Also I'm gonna use $, status dot total dot to fixed, means I need to only display 2 words. Alright, so this is my prop. The next thing I need to say title. The title should be total spend, and icon should be wallet, which is coming from blue side icon. Subtitle should be this month. Give me a second. This month, and give me a second. I just get another prop details, like these are gradients color combinations. Alright guys, so this is my first card. I have props like value, title, icon, subtitle, peach color, icon color. So I need to open it, destruct them. Okay, so I would say give me a second. So the first thing is, this is icon, so I need to convert it into large I, it means capitalize I, because I will use it inside this one as icon. Alright, next one is title, value, subtitle, peachy color. Okay, and icon color, I think. Let me check it. Okay, great. So the first thing is, this is the first step you should be use a peachy color. Alright, and what is the next thing you need to do? Inside there you need to use icon color, and this is the icon section, so you should be use icon, and class should be width 6, height should be 6, and also I would say stroke width should be 2.5, and this is a value, so I should be use value as a prop. This is a title, this is subtitle, so I would say subtitle is subtitle like this. Alright, so I think okay, I need to close it. Alright, so this is a conditional base, so what I'm going to do on there, use subtitle is exist, so display this one, otherwise do not display anything, just open the browser. Okay, let me check it. What radar reducer, no initial values, 24. Okay, so let me check 24. Okay, here is some mistake, so I would say give me a second and we're gonna fix it in a minute. So category totals, list dot reduce, accumulator dot e dot category and given e dot amount or nothing. Okay, I think I need to use the on there as well. Let me open it. Yeah guys, there we go. So we are able to see the icon, amount, total spent, this one. Let me copy, give me a second, just remove this one, don't need to use it, and just make a copies of this one, this second, third and fourth. Right, but you should be change the values, prop values. So I just get the values from a previous project, so just use it. So this is expenses. All right, so give me a second guys. Like this is a card, so it's a card. Okay, this is the second one guys, like this, and this is the third one. Get it and just paste it, training up, and this is our third one. All right, so just remove it and save the file. Look at that guys, total spent, expenses, average and highest, the different type of icons. And yeah, so we have fixed the dynamic or conditional based usage on the cards. Alright guys, so let's move on and we're gonna work on the logic that will help us to display the data. Means when the page will be loaded, then I would say I need to display the data. So what I'm gonna do on there, I will use the use effect hook, load initial data, use effect hook, and I'm gonna use like this, create a async function, and a reason for using the async function because I will call the fetch expenses function inside there. Alright, so the first thing I would say const loading loading set is set loading. By default is false. Alright, and when this function will be loaded, where it is here, set loading should be true, and I would say try catch block, and in the catch block I would say error console.error, like this, load error. Alright, and also I would say finally block, because I would say set loading should be false. In the catch block, the first thing is I need to make an array. Write any name as you want, so I'm going to use x data, use await, and you need to target the promises dot all, and empty array. You should be called fetch expenses function that will help us to get the data from the API. Alright, the next one is I need to normalize the data, so let's do that. And use expense data or empty array, use map method, passing the value e, make a copy of the e, and I would say assign the value in the date. What is this? Okay, e dot date. Okay, I think something is wrong on there, so let me, I think some calibrated issues. Alright, so it's like this, make a copy, comma, I think this should be solved. Yeah, so I would say that the date is coming from e tiny operator dot date, and I would say string function e dot date, and I would use split function that will help us to remove the t from the zero index, or I would like to add new date to ISO string, and also I need to split that t and the zero index. Alright, so I'm going to save the file. Let's look at that, guys. So this is my variable, so I target that. I need to use map method to repeat the data from there, and I would get the date. This will make a copy of the element, and inside the date I would say date is a string, then I just get the data. Otherwise I need to assign the new date. Alright, this is a t, this is basically, this is date functional t's, which will help us to remove the t from the date format. Alright, and then I would say set expenses, assign the normalized data. Alright, and the last and final thing you need to do, this is your load function. Outside of the load function you just call it. Let's take a look at that. When you refresh your page, alright, everything is great, but let me check it if I have any issue, so we will fix it. Stroke width. Okay guys, I'm getting the error. Okay, so it's error. Okay, it is coming from the basically backend. As you can see, 8000 app version 2 expenses, but I will use the backend. Let me check it. cd server and npm install, and the backend server is running, so I'm going to close it. Let me refresh the page, and I'm going to open the console, refresh it. Failed to load, so it's page request. Why I'm getting the access error? While load error. Give me a second. Let me open the browser, editor, and let me check the okay, the problem is coming from the database. IP is undefined, so let me fix it. Give me a second. I just log in the MongoDB account, and once I log in it, then you will get the data. I'm going to show you. Okay guys, so I'm logged in my MongoDB account. I just use add current IP address. Once I click on that, then the problem will be solved. So give me a second. I just click on add it, and then I will show you how you can check it, the application. Okay, so guys, I have added my IP address just by clicking the add button. So let me open my backend file, just app. Save the file, and okay guys, MongoDB is connected, so we are good to go. Let me refresh the page and open the inspect element. Let me check it. There are no any error guys, as you can see. The error is up here. Let me refresh this one. Expense, I think my URL is not found. Why? Okay guys, so the problem is API. This is my next problem. So let me refresh the page. There we go guys. Let me add the value by adding the by amos like this. Just click on it. Alright, so let me refresh the page. There we go guys, as you can see 350 item 1, and yeah, so we are able to see the data is appear from the database. But we need to work on the charts and also another important things. So let's move on our code editor, and we're gonna work on that guys. Okay, so just a moment. Alright, so the first step, I would like to make a many states. Then I will create a many function like store the data, update the data, delete the data. So we're gonna create a many state. So let's me write some code. The first one is model. Also I will use the model guys. Open set is model open. By default is use state false const editing expense. Okay, like this. Use state by default is null. And what is that? Search term, set search term. Yes, state by default is nothing. Category, say filter category. Set category by default should be all. Alright, and so I have loading and set loading like this. Alright, so let's work on the functions one by one, store the data, edit, delete, and yeah, so let me write command add, edit, and delete. Alright, so the first thing is const and add expenses. I have like assign function. I need to pass the parameter. I'm going to use payload. Alright, the try catch block error console.error and create error should be error. Okay, and yeah, but I just use that. In the try block, you need to make a variable created, and we use await and call the create expenses function, which is coming from the API, like this one. All right, this function is get the parameter. I will show you. I'm gonna save the file. No, this is not getting any parameter. Okay, I just leave it. Alright, so assign the value in the created variable. The next thing is, if is not created, means this will be false, then I just display the error, throw a new error, no created, return like this. And I would say set expenses. Remember I made the expenses and set expenses states. So I would say set expenses and write the previous, and I would assign the object-based value on them. Make a copy of the created, like this one variable. Then I need to assign the date should be created date. I need to remove the value like t from the index number 0. Alright, and then I also make a copy of the previous like this one. The next thing is I need to call set is model open should be false. Alright, so this function is help us to handle the add expenses. The next one is const on edit. In the edit I should use the parameter expense, and I would say set editing expense should be expense, and set as model should be true. Alright, let's move on, and we're gonna work on the handle to edit. Alright, handle save and edit. Alright, const handle save edit async payload. If not editing, this is a state name guys, true, then just return the value. Otherwise move on the try catch block. Just get the catch block from there guys. Alright, in the try block you can use same logic. This is updated await. The function you should be called update expenses, which is coming from the API. This function is get two parameter. The first one is the ID, the second one is a value. This is the ID, this is the value, right? So you need to get the ID from where? Editing expenses dot underscore ID. You must be use underscore because you have a call the database ID, right? Because is editing, let me show you, give me a second. So it's set is editing. I have assigned, I think, yeah, set is editing expenses. This is the function I have assigned, and there is expense means in the editing field have expenses value, so I just use it inside there. The next thing is our next parameter you should be pass is payload, means this parameter. When I will call this one function, then I would like to assign the value as a parameter. Alright, so let's move on, and you can use same logic like set expenses previous, and you should be use, give me a second, I do not use curly bracket because I just use previous dot map e dot underscore ID, means the database ID match with our updated, this is a variable dot underscore ID will match. Then I would say make a copy of the updated variable like this one, and I would say date should be updated, null date dot split remove the t from the 0 index number. Alright, so like this. Okay, let me. Alright, I think something went wrong on there, so let me. If this. Okay, this should be E, otherwise display. Alright, so let me add set editing expenses, and I would say assign the value null, and set is model should be false. Alright guys, let's move on, and we're gonna create last one function. I think edit, and yeah, we're gonna create a last one function is and delete async id as a parameter if window that confirm delete this, just return. I'll say try catch block. I'll get the catch block from there, guys. Alright, in the try block I just use await, delete expenses, and passing the as a parameter id. That's it, guys. So these are our functions, so we're gonna use them one by one inside our project. Alright, so guys, we're gonna move on why this. Give me a second, I'm gonna check it why node module is appearing, so just remove it. Okay guys, so let's use the functionalities. Give me a second, I need this one, I don't need that, I don't need that. Alright, so yeah, so the first step, I'm gonna target the spending chart and also category chart. So in the spending chart I need to pass as a prop expense. I'll just use expenses and value is expenses. Alright, so let me open it, and you just destruct the values and last 7 days calculation. Const last 7 days. Make a copy array, not copy, 7 arrays dot map underscore I, and I would say const date, new date function, date dot set date should be date dot get date function, negative by 6 minus by I, right? Return date dot to ISO string, and I remove the t from there, and the index number is 0. Alright, so let's add the chart data. So in the chart data I'll just use chart data last 7 days dot map data. Okay, I would say that, and const and expenses from expenses or empty array. Make a filter method and use const d means date e dot date, otherwise convert the data into string, which data e dot date, otherwise nothing. Then I need to use return. Okay, I'm getting this. return and detail split from the T and the index number 0 image date, otherwise the assign the date. Okay, and also I would say const total day expenses dot reduce sum and element sum concatenation converting a number e dot amount, otherwise so this is accumulator. So alright, and finally you need to use return keyword date new date, passing the date dot to as a string, and the format is English USA, and weekday, just use weekday, should be short. And the next video I will assign on there should be amount pass float total dot to fixed. Okay, alright guys, so that's it guys. So we can assign these data, and where you will assign these data, give me a second, line chart. Okay, here you need to pass as a prop, and value should be chart data like this. So let me save the file and let's take a look at that, what is happening on there. Array 7 is not retrievable. Okay, so let me check that. Okay, I would say the function using value, and there we go guys, this chart is appear inside there, but have some issue inside my date, so let me fix the date issues. Okay, I think to local date string function should be display the days. Yeah guys, there we go, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the Thursday have our data. Alright guys, cool. Let me add same thing in my next chart. So I think I do not change anything else inside there, just remove it. And the category chart you should be use same logic, but have a lot of things you can do on there. Alright, so let me add the videos category total is a prop, the videos category total. Alright, so let me this should be, let me check it. This should be used on the this one function. Okay, category totals. But the value should be status as category total like this. It should be solve the problem. Alright, so give me a second. I need to destruct that category chart, not category, give me a second. Very total, and also I have some color inside the array because I will use them. Alright, so the first step I would say const data. This is object based data, so I'm gonna use object dot entries category total or totals. Okay, category total or empty object dot map. In the map I would say name, value, and then index. and also destruct them by using name, a value, and color should be colors, and the index module by colors length. Okay, and yeah, I'm getting the issues, but I'm gonna remove it. Alright, and let me check in data object.entries category total or empty object.map, and I need to destruct the this. Give me a second. So in the index I would like to use like this, no, and I think this. I'll reuse it, guys. Name, value, color should be colors, index number, and what modules by color stop length. Why I'm getting this one issue, guys? Let me check it. Index map, empty object map, parenthesis, calibrate name, value, index parenthesis curly brackets, and yeah. The problem is, give me a second, is here in my curly brackets. Give me a second. The problem is all about inside the curly brackets, so let me fix it. Alright, so this map parenthesis. Alright, give me a second. So map, you should be passed to parenthesis, and name, value, next one is index, and you are good to go. Name, value, color should be colors, and the index modules by index, not index, color stop length, like this. Alright, so I'm facing once again issue, but this time this is not this is all about, guys. Yeah, guys, this is all about curly brackets and some arrow functions. Alright, so that's it, and just passing inside there as a data should be like this, data like this. So it should be display the chart, guys, as you can see, full chart. But also I need to display the conditional rendering on there, I mean colors. So just use data.map and it should be display the colors like this one. As you can see, when you will assign another category details, you will get another results. And last and final thing is I should be use class text Excel, font should be bold, text should be gray, 900, and margin bottom should be 6. Alright, so I'm going to save the file and look at that, guys. Alright guys, so let's move on in the transactions. So before moving on the transactions, I need to fix this one issue. I need to display some item names. So here's a map method usage like this one. So I just cut it and I would say data.map item. There should be item like this data, and inside there I need to display the item dot name like this. Just save it and you should be able to see the shopping. Alright, and the next one is I need to display some color combinations. So style background color should be item.color. It should be assigned the color as well, as you can see, guys. Alright, so let's move on and we're gonna work on the transactions. So close it. In the transaction list, you need to assign many things. So let me add one by one. Expense, expenses, expense, on delete, handle delete function, on edit function, then search term, set search term, category filter, and I do not use the loading on them. Open it, destruct them, and we will use them. Alright, so first one is expenses, like this, just these details. Also, I will create a function that will handle the color combination. So const write the function name get category color, parameters category, make object of the colors. The value should be like this. The food have this color, transportation, this color, entertainment, this, and so on and so forth. Last thing you need to use return colors, and the index number is category or colors dot other. Alright, the next one is I need to use the logic which will help us to filter the items. So let's do that. Const fill expenses, passing the values expenses, which is coming from the prop, empty array. I will use the filter method. In the filter method I would say expense, make a variable matches search, and make a function, use the function string, which will help us to convert the data into string. Which data? Expense.description. The description means you have a call the value which is coming from the description. Let me show you. So user will search on there. On behalf of this search, I just call the description. Means user will help us to search the data with the help of description. Alright, otherwise nothing. I need to convert it into lowercase if these details is includes inside the search term which is coming from the props. Alright, or nothing. And also we need to convert it into lowercase or give me a second, or expenses dot note is expense dot note dot to to lowercase, and give me a second, and also we're gonna use match category, filter category, which is coming from the props, like this one. And what I'm going to do on there, I would say equal to all. Then I should be display expense dot category will merge with the filter dot category and just return the match search. Alright, just return the match searches and match categories. So I have two videos inside this one function. The first one is the match searches and match categories. We will use them to check the value what happened on them. To lowercase, okay. So the problem is all about to lowercase. Let me find out string lowercase. Match searches equal to string expense description or nothing to lowercase dot include search term lowercase. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay guys, okay, here's some issues. This should be expense nodes. Alright, the first one issue. The next one is the expenses node to lowercase, and also you should be using includes function and check the search term or nothing, and also you should be use to lowercase like this. I think it should be solve the problem. Let me open it. Okay, transaction 31 to lowercase and another function. Okay guys, this is something inside includes. This should be like this, and search term I'll just use to lowercase. Right, give me a second. This is all about curly bracket issue guys. Give me a second, I just fix it and I will show you in a minute. Alright, so this is a search term, nothing dot to lowercase. So this is curly brackets. Search term like this, or expense notes, and yeah, so I think it should solve the problem. Yeah guys, there we go. Refresh on page, category cards, check. Alright guys, so the problem has been solved, and yeah, so let's use them inside our application. Alright, so this is a filter expenses, have all of the details, so I just get it. So here is a total number, so I would say filter expenses dot length. It should be display the length. Alright, so let me show you. As you can see, number one, total amount, and also I should use a space Alright, so I'm going to close it. The next one is I will use the logic on there. Alright, so the logic is, I'll say filter expenses dot reduce some element, some concatenation, e dot amount, so the accumulator is here. After that, you need to use dot to fixed to display only on 2 characters. And there you go, guys. As you can see, these details is coming from the database. Alright, so let's move on, and we're gonna use the logic on the input search field. So just use the value, the search term, which is coming from the props, and also you need to use on change event. When user will change the value, I should be use set search term and e dot target dot value, like this. Alright, so I'm gonna copy it, and no, this is a logic which help us to display the categories. Alright, so in the select, I would assign the value should be filter category. Alright, and the option that by default is all, the value should be all, and the next option, before using next option, I would say categories. Categories, what is the name? Give me a second. I also use the filter category. Give me a second. Why this? Okay, give me a second, guys. So yeah, so one thing we should be using there is categories. So I have a categories: food, transportation, entertainment, shopping, bills, health, other. So I would like to use this one. Give me a second, where I use the categories in the select box. Okay, so here you should be use category.map cat just return option, and in there you should be use cat. Alright, and also you should be use the value. Alright, so I'm gonna use the value should be cat and key should be cat. I'm gonna save the file and look at that, right? And I think I do not use any other things, but there's some issues in the select or option box by designing, so I'm gonna leave it. Okay, alright, so let's move on, and we will use the conditional rendering on there. So this is a if statement, so I would say filter expenses is exist, means that length is equal to 0, so display that. Otherwise I would like to use else statement like this one. Just cut it and paste on there like this, remove that comment, and yeah, so we're gonna save the file and look at that, guys. Only on the categories detail are up here inside there. Let me add the another important things where, so this is the else statement. I also mentioned there is map method because I will get the data. So filter expenses dot map expense, I will just return like this. Why this should be happening? Give me a second. in the else statement. Okay, I need to use filter category, not filter expenses dot map expenses. Like this, I will use expense just like this. Save the file, and there we go. But we need to change the values, so let me change the values one by one. But before changing the value, I need to change the color combinations. Alright, so let me check it. So okay, so the first one is that use this time. Background color should be get category color expense dot category, and default is 20. Right, so this is also another things. I just save it, copy it, and where's the next one? Okay, yeah. So background color category, I do not use this one was there. Alright, so let's move on and we will display the description. So I'll say expense.description, expense.amount. But before using amount, I would like to use $sign and use the number function. In the number function, I need to use expense.amount. I need to display only on 2 characters, so I would like to use function is to fixed. Alright, so save the file. Why this is happening? Okay, and this is the number function, and this is a category. Alright, so before using the category, I also mentioned to fixed flex it. Okay. I would like to use expense that category, and also I would like to use the colors should be style, background color should be get category color expense dot category 15, and also I need to use color should be get category color expense dot category. Basically these are functions that I have made on earlier. Let me show you on the top. So get category color, and here is the colors. Okay, so yeah, I think something is missing. Okay, so here is a dot. After dot, I need to assign that as a date. So I would like to use new date function. Inside that I need to pass expense dot date dot to local date string function. Inside that I need to assign the format should be English USA. The month should be why this, give me a second, to local date string. Yeah, it's perfect. Month should be short, and day should be like this. Alright, so let me open that. Alright, I can't see the data inside there. Let me I think I need to use return to one. It should display the data. Look at it, guys. The data is up here by a mouse. This is my colors, date, expense node. So also we can fix few things. This is a conditional base, so I would like to use expense.nodes is exist, then display that data, otherwise leave that. Alright, so let's move on. The last and final section should be on edit and delete. Right now we can't edit in this time because we need to fix the issues which are coming from the models. So we're gonna work on the models, then it should be work. But I will use the logic on the onClick event, and I would like to call onEdit function which is coming from the props, and we should be passed only on the expense as a value which is coming from the map method. Let me show you. Here is the expense, so you just pass on there, and the same thing you can do on there, but you can pass the ID on click and on delete function expense dot underscore ID. Alright, because you have a database ID, so you can delete it by clicking it. Okay, I'm gonna refresh my page. There are no record found on there, guys. Alright, so yeah, so we're gonna fix the last and final issue, which is model. When I click on it to display the model, and also we're gonna store the data by clicking the add details, and also we're gonna check the edit feature. Alright, so let's move on, and we're gonna work on the final section. So I need to remove this one, and I just open my top. In the top have a model like this one. In the model you should be use the event. So give me a second, I will show you guys everything. This is the last one. Okay, so here I would like to use onClick event and set as editing expenses function. You should be use null. Set as model should be true. Let's move on down and uncomment the model, and also open the model. Alright, because I will use many things inside there. The first thing is you need to pass the props is open and is model open, and you should be use onClick event as a prop. The value should be set as model open false, and also set editing should be null. Alright, so let me save it, and why this should be like this. Oh, why this is happening, guys, give me a second. On click and set as model. Alright, and also outside of the on click event you should be passed on submit event, and editing expenses is exist. Then I would like to use handle save edit function. Otherwise I would like to use handle add expenses function, right? And also I need to assign the initial data should be editing expenses like this. So I'm going to save the file, move on the model, and you should be use is open on close on submit initial data. And also you have a category, so just give me a second, I just press the categories because I will use the categories inside them. Alright, so let's move on and we're going to work on the model. First of all, I need to check empty object. The description should be nothing, amount should be nothing, category should be food, and that should be new, that to ISO string, and I need to remove the T in the index number 0, and notes should be nothing. These details are stored in the database. These are same values, right? Then I would like to use const form data, set form data, use this tag. The first one is initial data. You need to pass on there is initial data. Okay, let me copy, give me a second, because when I will face the problem. Alright, initial data or empty value. When the page will be loaded, I would like to use effect function, and inside the dependency array I need to use initial data. When this page will be loaded, I need to display the initial data. Alright, and I would like to use set form data function, initial data or empty value. Alright, so yeah, why this? Alright, let's move on, and I'm gonna use if it's not open, then I just use return nothing. And last and final thing is we will use the function handle submit. I would say if form data dot description or not form data amount, these are false, just display the alert message. Please fill across fields, just return it. Otherwise I would like to call on submit function. On submit, guys, this one is a problem. So passing the values as a object base, make a copy the form data. The next one is amount, it's a key, convert it into pass flow form data, that amount. That's it. Let's use them inside the project. So this is a add expenses, so I would like to use conditional based on there. It should be initial data is exist, so I would like to use edit expense. Otherwise I would like to use add expense like this. Then this is a close button. When it close model, I just use on click, just passing on close function, which is coming from the prop. And let's move on, and this is very important. So just a value, the value is coming from the form data description. Alright, and on change event, when the value will be changed, so I will say set form data, make a copy of the form data, description should be e.target.value. Alright, so you can use same logic on the date. Alright, so let me give me a second. Date, and this should be amount, and this should be description. Okay, here's my mistake. So this should be on there. I don't need to use that. And level, okay, here's the description. This is amount, so I would like to use amount, and this should be amount, this should be date. So the date is form data dot date. Inside there you just use date like this. Alright, so let's move on, and this is a category. So this button, so I would like to use category map cat, and we will use button categories. So just use kit, and also give me a second. I'll use type should be button. When user click on that, it should be how you set form data. Make a copy of the form data, and this is a category. As a key, the value is cat. And also I will use the conditional based rendering on there to assign the different type of combinations. Form data dot category, not dot category, is match with our category. Then I would say bg is 600. That should be right. Skull for shadow algae, otherwise bg gray 100. That should be gray 600, or bg gray 200, like this. So I'm gonna save the file, and yeah, we will able to see. Let me click on it. I'm getting the model, and these are categories. As you can see, I'm going to click on any category, I'm getting a result. But this is the issue of the designing, and when I click on it, the model, okay, it doesn't work. Let me open it and let's see what's happening on. When I click on this button, this should be initially on click. The model is up here, but why I can't see the close? Okay, the problem is I've used the onClose function outside of the button event. Just use on there. Alright, so let me click on it. Okay, I think let me click it. Why? Also, I'm going to use types is submit onClose. Okay guys, the problem is this one onClose, so it should be solve the problem. Click on that, there we go. Click on it, I'm getting that. Alright, so let's move on and we will fix the last and final things, I think. And this is the options and also text area. Okay, so I would like to use same logic like this one. Just copy it, and this is the type should be what type. I don't need to use type in there. The value should be notes on change from that, and this is the notes e.target.value. That's perfect. And also I would like to use rows, should be true, and yeah, it's perfect. So the next and last thing is on submit event, right? So this is my function, so I would like to on click handle submit, and also I would like to use initial data is exist to display the save changes, otherwise display the add expense. Alright, so this is a cancel. So I would like to use same event which is onClose, like this, onClose. close. Alright, so let me save the file, and yeah guys, there we go, we are good to go to use it. But before moving on that, let me fix this category designing. Alright, so in the categories, get gap calls 2, and give me a second. Guys, I think this issue is all about my designing, so I'm gonna cut it and let me open it. Let me use that. Give me a second, I just check it where I will use it. So this is on second. Let me try to use it on there. Let me open it. Yeah, there you go guys. Alright, so let me add the value and let's see what happens. Buy a mouse 350, and I will select the shopping, buy a gaming mouse like this, and nothing happening, and something is wrong on console. On change handle, this will be okay. Guys, let me check my backend and let's see what's happening on the backend. Okay, this is my last functionalities. Okay, let me try to use the postman and we're gonna check the another things. So let me refresh my page. I'm getting the value. Let me click on to edit. I'm getting the values, and I'm also see save changes. Let me change the price for 50 and click on save changes. Yeah, it is working, but the problem is, and also let's search something. So it doesn't work, and let's select the category filters. This is also doesn't work. Okay, and let me fix these issues. Okay, and yeah. Alright guys, so let me check the okay, so I have tried to check the update functionalities. I'm getting the result. I'm going to close it, and I have opened the api.js file. Inside there I need to pass the value on there as a parameter, because this is a very important. So I need to use payload, and after this one you should be pass payload like this. So this, give me a second, I use the create function. Give me a second. Handle expenses, I pass the value, and when I pass this one, let me where it is, on submit initial data, handle save function, this is also getting the value. So let me check it what happening when I click on it and store the value by keyboard like this, and shopping, click on it. Let me open the console and let me check it what's wrong with this. Response failed, expense, this is post. So the mistake is all about, it's coming from the server. Let me open the server and what we are getting at. There are no problem inside there guys. So the problem is all about inside. Let me check the create expense. Okay, I think Yeah, it's perfect. Async payload, and this is the expense api.post response to data. Otherwise, okay, here is a mistake. I would like to use null. Okay, and also in the update I also mentioned the null. Alright, so let's move on there and we will check handle expense function and we will fix the issues one by one. I created update. Okay, here is another issue. We need to pass the values, and yeah, I think it should be. Click on it. Yeah, there we go, guys. Alright guys, so the issue is only on the parameters. Alright, so let me click on it, and I'm going to change the price like 250. Save changes. The price has been updated. And also this is a one category values, but you can change the category like bill. I'm going to select the bill. Save changes. As you can see, your chart is like this. And the last and final thing is, by a mouse it doesn't work, the transaction. So let me open the where it is guys, transaction list. In the transaction I use expenses, and on delete, on search term set search term category folder. Yeah, so the parameters is perfect. And now let's move on there. Yeah, okay, it has mistakes, so let me save the file. Let's try to use it. By a mouse. Yeah guys, I would say by. I use mouse, I use keyboard, I use bill. Right, cool guys. So I think everything is perfect, and yeah, let's search the. Okay, here is also issue. So when I select the category, it doesn't work. So let me find the problem where it is. Uncart count property undefined value. So this is all about on the categories. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna fix it. And the problem is I need to add the event guys on change event. You set filter category e.target.value. That's it guys. Let me use it. So let's select food, no records. I select bills, I'm getting bills. Let's select all, I'm getting all records. Alright guys, so this is all about expenses tracker using MERN stack. So I hope you are understood as well all about it. So thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day.